Now, there are fears that floods, which have already claimed more than 35 lives and forced tens of thousands of people out of their homes in the Balkans, could get worse. One person who's been leading the calls for aid to assist flood victims is the Serbian tennis star Novak Djokovic. The world number 2 has used his fame to gather support for people in Serbia and Bosnia on social media. He admitted the devastation has made him very emotional and has been raising money through his children's charity, the Novak Djokovic Foundation. Well, he's a native, of course, of the Serbian capital, Belgrade, which has seen the worst of the flooding in that country. But at the moment, he is in Italy for the Rome Masters tournament, where, of course, he was victorious earlier on this afternoon against Rafa Nadal. Novak Djokovic, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Good evening to you.
Good evening to you too. Thank you for having me.
Tell us how closely you've been able to keep in touch with events back home while you've been in Italy.
Yeah, it has been a very emotional week for anybody who comes from Serbia or Bosnia, this matter, because there's a lot of suffering, and this kind of natural disaster has biblical proportions. It is a higher force. It is nature. It's something you can't influence. But I was trying, although I was being a part of the tournament, to raise the awareness about what's going on, because I thought, looking at the international media, that there hasn't been too much awareness and too much talk about floods in Serbia that haven't been worse in the last 130 years. So people are struggling. People are losing homes. And in a suburb of Belgrade, in the small city of Obrenovac, it is the worst by far situation in the last 4 days. There has been a lot of casualties that still the government is not able to name and to number, because they are still discovering new bodies as the flood is backing up. So it's been a very emotional week for me. Part of me is very happy to win the tournament here in Rome. That is a big one in our sport. But on the other hand, my thoughts and all my love was with the close ones and with my people in Serbia.
I mentioned the remarks that you had made prior to today about the lack of international coverage of those floods, and there's certainly been more of that today as far as I can see. But why do you think there was that lack of coverage, at least initially?
Well, I'm not completely sure what is the exact reason for that, but I'm not pointing a finger and blaming any network or any international media. I was just trying to use my status, to use my position, and contribute in such way for my country in these difficult times to attract more attention and to get more broadcast from the news in Serbia, and that was the whole idea and purpose of my actions in the last 2 days.
And tell us the response you've had on social media from people who are very keen to help here.
Yes, there has been a lot of positive impact and reactions from the people all around the world. They're showing their good heart, and especially through the foundation, Novak Djokovic Foundation, that has been very active in the last couple of days, trying to gather as much help, any kind of help that is possible to use for the damage that has been done in Serbia for the floods. So. There has been a lot of people with goodwill in Serbia, a lot of athletes that have not been competing officially, that in various sports have stopped their seasons because they wanted to contribute, wanted to physically help, because that's what we need in the last 4 or 5 days with the floods. The most needed help is actually people to get out there and try to protect the cities from the floods, from the rivers. But the most important thing is to say that after the floods are over and after the situation is better, we are going to have a period of several months, and might take also several years, of recovery and getting people to the stable ground and getting people to their normal lives and having the home and the roof above their heads. And that is the process. The length of the process depends on the help that Serbia actually gets from abroad. That is why I and several other athletes and famous people from our country have been trying to raise this awareness internationally.
We very much appreciate your time, Novak. Thank you very much for coming on the line.
Thank you very much.
Djokovic there speaking to us from Rome about those floods in the Balkans which have claimed more than 30 lives in Serbia and Bosnia.